Good afternoon, everybody. This is Bob Iacchino along with Mike Arnold, co-founders of Path Trading Partners. And this is an April 20th PM Path Chat covering the futures markets. Mike is going to cover the VIX, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and then crude oil. We're going to leave metals out for now because they didn't move as much as they probably should, given some of the things that went on today. The number one thing I thought might move the markets today was the speech given by Governor John Carney from the Bank of England. Actually, two speeches, but only one thing he mentioned of note. He talked about the referendum called on by Theresa May that was approved by Parliament yesterday. And he said that he would basically make a distinction between last year's Brexit referendum and this particular, what he called a normal political process, and saying that the UK's banks are prepared for the outcomes of elections, whereas the Brexit was sort of a one-off event. It wasn't a typical part of the political process. It was more of a binary decision, and markets and institutions were not prepared. He says they are prepared now. Other economic information that affected the markets, U.S. Philly Fed business outlook. Again, very volatile number, but underperformed. Came out at 22 versus 25.5 expected versus 32.8 last. Eurozone consumer confidence was down 3.6, but it was expected at down 4.8. So it was actually a better number. And U.S. leading indicators for March came out at 0.4 better versus 0.2 expected and down 0.5 last. So that was a bit of an improvement. Markets were up most of the day, but then accelerated after U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said the administration was close to major tax reform. Now, this is the same Steve Mnuchin that said that they were a ways away, that it wouldn't happen by August, and he just said that last week. So I think if there was actually some sort of positive breakthrough, it'd be really positive for stocks. It was very positive for the NASDAQ today. We almost got a new record high close. We fell just short of it, but Mike will talk a little bit more about that. Even with the big moves we've got, the NASDAQ, which was the best performing index, only rose 0.9%. It wasn't even up a percentage point. So you got to keep those percentages in mind. It's very important. No real updates on the French election other than to remind you that it's Sunday and this preliminary election is more important than the runoff. The runoff could be more important depending on who gets through. But we'll update you on any polls tomorrow morning in our next Path Chat. So let me turn it over to Mike to let you know what he is seeing on the charts. Mike, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. So let's start off and take a look at the VIX. VIX closed back below significant levels, still above our trend line here and still in the rotation zone, but we were talking about a close back below the significant levels to suggest that maybe people are less worried about protecting themselves to the downside. We had a substantial rally in the markets today, which we'll look at now, especially in the NASDAQ. But we'll take a look at everything. So transports came up. We've talked about this 91.20 level and the flat 50. We rallied up straight to that. On a continued rally over the next day or so, if we have another strong rally, watch for 9200, followed by 92.21, which is about our defining point and the key GAN levels. So those are the short-term areas we'll be watching for. If we really get above this defining point, the 92.21 area, it could be that the transports have turned around, at least for the short term. It does pull back. Watch for support 90.25 and 90.68. Let's take a look at the industrials. Industrials, pretty substantial rally today, up 0.85%. Hit the upper end of our rotation zone and the 37.5 GAN level around, what was the high today? 20,629.78. So if we rally up tomorrow, we could see some resistance, minor resistance around the 20,665 area, and then the next levels up are really about 20,745 to 20,750 to the upside. If it pulls back, watch for support 20,514, and then we'd be looking to come in right back around the 20,423 on a bigger drop. Over to the S&P. S&P, nice big rally today, up 0.78 8%. Found some resistance at prior GAN level and dropped back below that, but we were watching for the 23.53 to 55 level. If we continue to rally tomorrow, there's going to be some minor resistance at 23.59. Then next level up is about 23.61, followed by a cluster of 23.63 to 23.65. If there was a major rally again tomorrow, next level above that we'd be watching for 23.75. On a pullback, some support at 23.47, followed by 23.44, and then nothing really down until 23.38. And if that was broken, you'd watch for a retest of about the 23.33. NASDAQ, which was up 0.83% on the day, came up. We have a key defining point right here, which was 54.4375, and the close today was 54.4275, so just closed a little below that. On a rally tomorrow, you're going to have some resistance at today's highs, minor resistance 54.7475, and then there really isn't anything until you get up to the prior highs, right around 54. Let me give you the exact number. 54.8125 would be the next target up. On a pullback, 54.15 can be some support. Then we don't have much down until 5400 to 5402, and then if that's broken, really not a lot down to, until 53.80. Finally, let's roll over to crude oil. See what crude did today. Tried to rally up a bit today, found some resistance right around our 51.23 level and are hooking over 21.50, and then drop back down below our significant level to close below our significant level. On further weakness tomorrow, 50.38 is going to be key. Then we're looking at 49.92 to 50, and then nothing really down until 49.50 to 49.54. On a rally, resistance again 51.23, followed by 51.45 area, and then 51.66. And if we were to have a stronger rally and get through all that, 51.84 are your levels. Keep in mind that we may have put in a very short-term bottom. Don't know how long it will last. We could get some surprises from the French election, as Bob talked about, and then next week at the end on the 28th, we have that the debt ceiling will have to be increased before then, or we could face a partial government shutdown. It will probably, again, go through. But if there is any surprises with the French election or next week with the debt ceiling, then you could see some volatility return to the markets, and this could be a very short-lived bottom. If everything goes smoothly with those two things and this bottom holds, then we could see especially rallies up above key points, key trend lines that we're watching, and a potential new highs in the NASDAQ. That's all we have for you. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you for that, Mike. Thanks for the extra color about the debt ceiling. I had neglected to mention that. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next Path Chat.